Thanks so much. I'm going to actually start with a little bit about leadership, because I feel like that's a really important component of getting things from ideas to impact. And now I know how long I'm spending. So our society, I think, in a lot of ways is unintentionally stunting the growth of some of our most promising leaders by telling them that they're leaders of tomorrow. The rhetoric that comes with that is, you're the leaders of tomorrow, you know, just keep at it, keep working hard, and when your time comes, you know, you'll be ready. What that says, though, is you're not the leaders of now. And it's a nice message for people who aren't ready, and it's okay for a world that doesn't have problems. You know, there's a little bit of a problem with reality here, which is, you know, it ignores just how countless and how relentless social evils are. We can't solve them fast enough. They fester when they're not addressed. And really, solutions sometimes are creating even more problems. So the world has a leadership crisis, as is very much on display these days. And we really can't afford to defer the impact that our young leaders want to have. We can't afford to diminish their optimism, and we can't dismiss their innovations. You know, many of them are ready to get started today, and they need that catalyst, they need that little spark to get going. They don't want their generation's inheritance to be cleaning up a mess that could have been prevented. They want to actually prevent the mess. So this is where the Resolution Project comes in. Resolution provides a pathway to action for young, socially responsible leaders to create positive change today. Okay, so how do we do this? It's a four-step process. One, we collaborate with existing youth leadership summits around the world. Two, we invite undergraduate students to take part in a social venture competition, present their ideas for how they'd solve a problem that their community is facing. Then we award resolution fellowships to the individuals who present the most compelling personal leadership characteristics and the most promising social venture ideas. Now, this is where a lot of organizations that grant money stop, and they, you know, provide the cardboard check and they take the photo op, and it's, you know, it's good luck out there. It's a mean world. We see it's really important to take this one step further, and that's to support our fellows with dynamic, hands-on mentorship, with seed funding, and with access to world-class global advisory resources that include 250 volunteers, guides, that's our word for mentors, who are professionals by day and volunteer and donate their time to provide their subject matter expertise and their knowledge, and our partners. So really, when you get down to it, it's a pretty simple idea. We take undergraduate students, and what do they have? Ideas, energy, optimism, time, and they have peers who also have the same, and they're able to motivate them and get them energized. And then on the other side, we basically match them with resources, funding, know-how, expertise, in a supportive model, not in an ownership model, in a supportive model, where we often just ask the fellows, what can we do to help? And once you sort of put those two pieces together, right, this is our recipe for taking ideas to impact. So what I want to do, I want to talk about one of our success stories. His name's Sahadev. He's from Nepal. I met him at the Clinton Global Initiative University, where we were running one of our social venture competitions. His proposal had an epically long name. It was something like 15 or 20 words long. If I tried to repeat it now, I wouldn't do it credit. So I really went into his pitch not knowing what to expect. And so I asked him, Sahadev, tell me, what are you doing? He said, my social venture is about creating a library in a rural part of Nepal that's been war-torn for years, and bringing them books and technology. And I said, that sounds great. How do you intend to do this? His response was probably about the last thing that you would have expected. He tells me, I'm going to start a farm, and we're going to hire women from the community who are single mothers because they've been abandoned or widowed as a result of the Civil War. And we're going to raise chili, turmeric, and onions, and sell those crops, and with the money, those women are going to make a better wage than they would otherwise, and we're going to take those proceeds and invest them into the school. At this point, I mean, I met this young man about 30 seconds earlier. You know, my eyebrows were probably around here because you sometimes get these huge ideas, right? And then he had to add in, oh, we're also going to build a dam. So I then just followed with the same question that I asked before, you know, how do you intend to do this? And his answer was, you know, the most genuine thing you've ever heard. He says, sir, I have the lease agreement already negotiated. I have the engineer who built the dam upriver signed on to do the project, and I have 4 women in Nepal who are counting on me to bring back this project. What I need is the Resolution Project's support. You don't find that sort of passion everywhere, and it's a rare thing to see it in someone so young, but he'd been through many, many rounds of project proposals in which he was asked to articulate what he was doing and how it was going to make an impact, and he'd been turned down many times before. He'd in fact had this idea for 5 years. He'd started going there when he was 15 against his parents' wishes, hiking 9.5 hours with a backpack full of books to start getting this library going. And along the way, he built up this larger idea of wedding employment and education. And we were there for him at that moment to capture that idea, that energy that was already in the room at CGIU, and to channel it into a direct action. So we continue to give him support and mentorship and any resources he needs, and it's been tremendous. I checked in with him actually yesterday. He rebranded the project under the Yangward Foundation, which is much better than what he had before. He's paying his employees 2.5 times what they would get working an ordinary 8-hour shift. Instead, they're working a 5-hour shift and making that much, which also affords them more time to spend with their children. And they know that the work that they're doing is being reinvested in their community and in their children's future. The first crop was harvested and was successful. The second crop will make them financially sustainable. So he's been facing 2 major challenges. The first one is something they'll resolve very quickly. You know, there's actually, and please don't laugh too hard, but this is actually Sahadev at work in the field, but there's an issue, and the issue is a monkey problem.
What?
Okay? There's a monkey problem. There's a mischievous monkey. There's a mischievous monkey that gets in the crops from time to time and damages them. So they're trying to figure out a humane way to prevent that. And they'll get there. They'll get there. The guides actually have some relevant experience, which is strange as it may seem. But the big problem is that his initiative has already been incredibly successful, and other communities are coming to him and saying, we need you to start this here. While he's still focusing on getting this one project all the way there and getting that that library in place. So my question to you is, when faced with success, but still finite financial resources, right, how can he go about balancing the goals of his project, that is the school's interests and the interests of the community that he's already working in, with the possibility of scaling and expanding into new communities with sustainable projects? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.